You've spent your life moving forward, working hard, raising a family, doing your best to be strong, to be useful, to be enough. You carried expectations, some that were spoken, and others that just lingered quietly in the air. You did what needed to be done. You showed up for everyone, and maybe, somewhere along the way, you forgot to ask yourself one simple question: what actually matters to me? Because here's the truth. After 70, something beautiful begins to happen. Not because life gets easier, but because it gets clearer. You stop chasing things that once felt urgent, and you start noticing the things that have always been important. This video is not about slowing down, it's about waking up to what brings you peace, what brings you joy, and what brings you home to yourself. So if you've been wondering what truly deserves your time, your care, and your heart in this next chapter of life, you're in the right place. Let's begin. 1. Listening to your body, not pushing it. For most of our lives, we're taught that strength means pushing through. Keep going, no matter what. Don't ask for help. Don't slow down. Don't show weakness. So we carry heavy bags even when our shoulders ache. We climb stairs even when our knees whisper otherwise. We tell ourselves, I've always done this. I can still do it. I should still do it. But something shifts after 70. A new voice begins to rise, quiet at first, but steady. It says, you don't have to push anymore. You've already proven your strength. Now, it's time to honor your body, not ignore it. Margaret was 79 when she realized this. For years, she insisted on doing all the housework herself. She vacuumed, lifted laundry baskets, cleaned windows, because that's what she'd always done. It made her feel capable, independent. But one summer afternoon, after feeling lightheaded while cleaning out the garage, her doctor said something that stayed with her. Your body has carried you through so much. It deserves care, not demands. So Margaret made a change. She hired a local student to help with the heavier chores. At first, she felt uneasy, almost guilty, like she was giving up a part of her identity. But then came a Saturday when she sat on the porch, watching the girls sweep the walk while they chatted about life and college and the weather. And in that stillness, Margaret realized she hadn't lost independence. She had gained peace, presence, and maybe even a little companionship. There comes a time when we stop measuring strength by how much we can carry. Instead, we begin to measure it by how gently we can treat ourselves. 2. Saying goodbye to regret. Regret is a quiet weight. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It lingers in the back of your mind, in the late-night hours when everything else has gone still. It shows up in thoughts like, I should have done that differently, or why didn't I take that chance? And for years, sometimes decades, we carry those questions around like stones in our pockets, thinking they're just part of the journey. But something changes after 70. You begin to see those moments with softer eyes, not as failures, but as signs of who you were becoming. Take Helen. She's 81 now. For most of her adult life, she carried a quiet ache about the career she never pursued. In her 30s, she had the chance to study art abroad, but stayed home instead to care for her aging parents. It was the right thing at the time, but still, the what-if followed her. She'd walk through galleries and wonder what could have been. But one day, while flipping through an old photo album, she stopped on a picture of her father, smiling, holding her baby daughter, and it hit her. This is what I chose. A life close to the people she loved, a home filled with laughter, a family built with care. That realization didn't erase the question entirely, but it gave it context and compassion. You see, regret doesn't have to define you. It can teach you. The younger version of you, the one who made those choices, was doing the best she could with what she knew at the time. And that version of you got you here. So instead of asking, "What should I have done?" maybe the better question is, "What did I learn?" Regret can be a doorway, not a sentence. And when you walk through it with understanding, not judgment, you begin to make space for something far more powerful: self-forgiveness. You are not the sum of your missteps. You are the result of your courage to keep growing, to keep loving, to keep showing up, even with a heart that's carried both joy and sorrow. Letting go of regret doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing not to relive the pain when you've already earned the wisdom. 3. Letting go of the rush. From the time we are young, we're handed a silent script. Graduate by this age. Start a family by that one. Achieve, build, succeed, and do it all quickly. There's this invisible clock always ticking in the background, whispering, "You're behind. You should have done more. You should be further along by now." And for years, many of us obey that clock without even realizing it. We rush, we hustle, we compare. But after 70, something begins to shift. The clock grows quieter, and we start to question whether it was ever real to begin with. Susan was 78 when she signed up for her very first dance class. She had always loved music, always wanted to learn, but never felt like there was time. First it was raising kids, then it was work, then helping with grandkids. She told herself for decades, maybe later. But one day she looked at herself in the mirror and thought, if not now, when? So she went, nervously, with sore knees and butterflies in her stomach. And by the end of that first class, with her cheeks flushed and her spirit lifted, she knew she hadn't missed her chance. She had just arrived at it. The truth is, life is not a race. There is no single timeline for healing, for learning, for joy, or for new beginnings. Whoever told us that we were too late was simply wrong. You are not running out of time. You are stepping into your own. The world may move fast, but you don't have to. You can savor, you can stretch, you can choose what matters and let go of the pressure to be in a hurry. After 70, the best moments often come not from checking things off a list, but from finally allowing yourself to experience life at your own pace, to linger in conversation, to take the long way home, to start something just because it brings you joy. You are not late. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and there is still so much life waiting to be lived, slowly, fully, and freely. 4. Choosing peace over grudges. Some burdens are heavy not because of their size, but because of how long we've carried them. Old arguments, words never said, hurts that were never healed. Sometimes we tell ourselves that holding on protects us, that if we stay angry, we stay safe. But the truth is, after a certain point, a grudge doesn't shield us. It isolates us. And after 70, we start to feel the true cost of that weight. Diane is 80 now. For over 25 years, she hadn't spoken to her childhood friend, Lillian. One misunderstanding turned into silence, then years passed, and by then, it just felt too awkward to reach out. But after a health scare last winter, Diane found herself staring out the window one morning and thinking, "Why am I still holding this?" That afternoon, she wrote a short note, just a few lines. "I miss you. I hope you're well." A week later, her phone rang. It was Lillian. No apologies, no blame. Just two old friends talking about their gardens and their grandkids, like no time had passed at all. Letting go of a grudge doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It doesn't mean ignoring the pain. It means choosing peace over pride. It means deciding that your well-being matters more than being right. Sometimes forgiveness is a conversation. Sometimes it's a quiet moment to yourself where you say, "I release this. I no longer want to carry it." You've lived through enough to know that time is precious, and the space in your heart is too valuable to be filled with old bitterness. When you put the grudge down, even just a little, you make room for something better: lightness, connection, and freedom, because the peace you offer others often becomes the peace you give yourself. 5. Letting go of other people's opinions. There was a time when what others thought of you felt like everything. You worried about how you looked, how you spoke, what your neighbors might say, how your children turned out, whether you were seen as successful, appropriate, polite. And for decades, those opinions helped shape your choices. Sometimes they made you strive for better. Other times, they made you shrink, stay silent, hold back. But after 70, something begins to change. You stop needing permission, and you start listening to the one voice that matters most: your own. Take Ruth, for example. She's 76 and used to spend years second-guessing everything. She loved bold colors but wore beige. She loved to laugh loudly but kept it quiet in public. She dreamed of starting a little online shop for her handmade quilts, but worried people would think it was silly. What if no one buys anything? She'd tell herself. What if they think I'm just trying too hard? But one day, while walking past a storefront filled with paintings by local seniors, she stopped, and she thought, if they can show their art, why not me? That night, she posted her first quilt online. It sold within a week, but the best part wasn't the sale. It was the feeling, the quiet sense of, I'm finally doing this for me. Letting go of other people's opinions doesn't mean becoming indifferent or unkind. It means learning that not every voice deserves a seat at your table. It means understanding that most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to truly judge yours. And even when they do judge, it rarely has anything to do with you, and everything to do with their own fears, their own insecurities, their own lenses. When you stop trying to please everyone, something beautiful happens. You begin to feel free. Free to dress the way you like, to say what's in your heart, to create, to rest, to live honestly. There is a deep kind of joy in no longer wondering, what will they think? And instead asking, what do I want? That shift can feel small, but it changes everything. You've spent enough time shaping your life around the comfort of others. Now is the time to shape it around the truth of who you are. That might look different from what others expect, and that's okay. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your happiness. You don't have to defend your peace. Not anymore, because the older you get, the more clearly you see. Other people's opinions come and go, but your inner peace, your authenticity, your joy, those are yours to keep. And they are worth protecting, fiercely. 6. Embracing what's timeless instead of chasing what's trendy. There's a quiet pressure in our culture that never fully disappears. It tells us, keep up, stay relevant, don't fall behind. It's in the new technology, the ever-changing fashion, the slang you don't recognize, the apps that everyone seems to be using except you. And even after 70, that voice can still whisper, if you're not keeping up, you're being left behind. But here's the truth. After a certain point in life, you begin to see things more clearly. You start to realize that most trends are just noise, and what really matters is what feels true to you. Joanne, age 74, spent years trying to keep up. Her daughter would buy her the latest phone, show her how to use new apps, suggest modern clothes that felt stiff and uncomfortable. Joanne wanted to connect, to feel included, so she tried. She smiled through it. But one afternoon, while scrolling through a shopping website on her phone, she paused. She wasn't enjoying it. She missed going to the local bookstore. She missed wearing clothes that reminded her of her younger self. Soft cardigans, floral prints, comfortable shoes. She missed listening to the music she grew up with, the kind that told stories instead of chasing beats. That moment was a turning point. She asked herself, who am I doing this for? And slowly she began to return to what she truly loved. After 70, you earn the right to stop chasing what's current and start honoring what's constant. Because the truth is, you've already lived through wave after wave of trends. You've seen bell-bottoms come and go, then come back again. You've watched music styles change, phones shrink and grow, the way people communicate evolve completely. And you've survived all of it, not because you kept up, but because you knew who you were, no matter what the world was doing. What's trendy is designed to make you feel like you're missing something. But what's timeless reminds you that you already have something. Depth, wisdom, identity. You don't need to upgrade every year to prove your value. You don't need to trade comfort for style unless it brings you joy. You don't have to change to remain worthy. You've already earned the right to be exactly who you are. So wear what feels good. Listen to what moves you. Decorate your home with things that carry memory, not status. Let your days reflect your story, not someone else's trend. Because the goal at this point isn't to stay with it. The goal is to be at peace with yourself, with your choices, with your life. And that truly never goes out of style. 7. Releasing the need to compare. Comparison is a habit that starts young and stays quiet. It begins in childhood, with grades, with gifts, with who gets invited to what. As we grow older, it shifts shape, but never fully disappears. We start comparing homes, careers, children, vacations, even how gracefully someone is aging. And in today's world, with so much of life shared online, it's easier than ever to feel like you're falling behind. But after 70, something starts to soften. You begin to see that the picture-perfect lives you once admired were never the full picture at all. Margie is 75. She lives alone in a small, cozy home in Oregon. No cruises, no big family reunions, no matching t-shirts and Facebook photos. For years, she would scroll through her feed and feel that quiet ache. Friends surrounded by grandchildren, celebrating 50-year anniversaries, smiling in photos that seemed too perfect to be real. And sometimes she'd ask herself, did I miss out? But one morning, while sipping tea in her garden, with her old dog resting by her feet and the sun warming her face, she felt something different. She looked around, not at a screen, but at her own life, and realized, this is enough. I am not missing anything. The truth is, comparison hides the truth. You see someone's joy, but not their pain. You see their highlight reel, not the long nights, the quiet losses, the regrets they don't share. No one's life is perfect, no matter how polished it looks. And no two lives can be measured by the same scale, not by money, not by marriage, not by milestones. What truly matters, peace, meaning, connection, can't be posted or proven. It can only be felt. After 70, you begin to understand that success isn't about checking off boxes. It's about feeling content in your own skin. It's about waking up and knowing that your life, whatever it looks like, is yours, uniquely yours, with its own joys, its own lessons, its own kind of beauty. So the next time you see someone celebrating something beautiful, let it remind you that beauty exists, not just in their story, but in yours too. Let it inspire, not diminish. Let it lift, not shame. You've already lived through decades of life, of love, loss, growth, change. There's no need to match anyone. There's nothing left to prove. Because when you finally stop comparing, you start noticing the quiet magic that's been there all along. Your laughter, your resilience, your memories, your peace. And that is more than enough. Living lightly. After 70. Gentle practices for a peaceful, purposeful life. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about clearing space. Space in your home, in your heart, in your thoughts, for what truly matters now. After 70, life offers a quiet invitation to live with less pressure and more presence. Here are a few gentle practices that can help turn those insights into everyday peace. To begin, start your mornings slowly, with intention. Instead of rushing into the day or reaching for your phone, try stillness, a quiet cup of tea, a short prayer, a few deep breaths by the window. Ask yourself, what do I need today? Not what do I need to do, but what do I need to feel like myself? This single question can change your entire rhythm. Next, listen to your body without guilt. You've been strong your whole life, but now, strength looks different. It looks like resting when you're tired. It looks like saying yes to help. It looks like choosing comfort without apology. If your knees ache, sit down. If your heart feels heavy, take a walk. If your energy fades midday, take that nap. Listening to your body isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Another way to lighten your spirit is through quiet forgiveness, for others and for yourself. You don't have to wait for an apology to let go of a grudge, and you don't need to punish yourself for decisions made decades ago. Try this simple act. Write a letter you don't intend to send. Say the words you never got to say. Then fold it, take a deep breath, and let it go. Peace often begins when we stop rehearsing old pain. Also, it's time to redefine what it means to be productive. You've earned the right to slow down. Productivity doesn't have to mean doing more. It can mean being more available for conversation, more attentive to beauty, more open to joy. Sitting in your garden, laughing with a neighbor, rereading a favorite book. These are not small things. They are the whole point. Along the way, surround yourself with what feels like you. Let go of things, trends, or expectations that no longer reflect who you are today. Keep the music that makes you smile. Wear the clothes that bring you comfort. Display the photos that tell your story, not just the best ones, but the real ones. Let your space, your time, and your energy reflect your spirit, not the world's demands. Then replace comparison with curiosity. When you catch yourself thinking, they're doing more, or they seem happier, try asking instead, what makes me feel most alive right now? Everyone's journey is different. Your joy won't look like theirs. And that's the beauty of it. The goal isn't to keep up, it's to keep close to what's true for you. It also helps to create small, sacred routines. Maybe it's an afternoon walk, or a weekly phone call with a friend. Maybe it's lighting a candle at dinner. These quiet rituals create rhythm, and rhythm creates peace. The world may feel unpredictable, but your simple routines can be an anchor, something steady, something yours. In addition, make room for new beginnings in your own time. It's never too late to try something new. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to be perfect. Take up sketching, try a new recipe, plant something small in the backyard. The joy isn't in the outcome, it's in the experience of being curious again. Also important, talk to yourself the way you'd talk to a dear friend. You've lived through loss, love, uncertainty, and change. Speak gently to yourself. When you make a mistake or forget something, say, "That's okay, I've handled harder." Your words to yourself matter. They shape how you carry your days. Finally, remind yourself, you are not behind. You are becoming. There is no timeline left to follow, no standard left to meet. You've arrived, right here, right now. With all your years, your stories, your beauty, you are not defined by what you didn't do. You are defined by how you keep choosing presence, peace, and purpose again and again. Let go of the noise. Return to what feels real. You haven't missed your moment. You are living it. So much of life is spent trying to meet expectations, to stay strong, to keep up. But after 70, life offers you a softer invitation to release what no longer fits, to choose peace over pressure, to come home to yourself. Maybe one part of today's message spoke to your heart, maybe several. Wherever you are on your journey, know this: you are not behind. You are not too late. You are not alone. This chapter is not the end. It's your chance to live more gently, more clearly, more truthfully than ever before. You don't need to prove anything now. You've already done the proving. What matters most is how you feel when you wake up, how you love, how you listen, and how you care for yourself and for the life you've built. If this message brought you comfort or clarity, take a moment to share it with someone who may need it too. And if you haven't heard it in a while, you are enough, just as you are. Still growing, still worthy, still wonderfully becoming.